Cologne, Germany. A city best known for its beautiful, stunning cathedral. A towering marvel of European architecture, history and genius. An icon dominating the skyline with grace. Gorgeous. What else? Oh yeah, it's also the city that's tarnished forever because of the mass sexual assault and rape of German women by illegal migrants on one fateful New Year's Eve. Who could forget? And now, to further add to that glowing image, Cologne is now home to one of Europe's largest mosques, and officially the largest mosque in Germany. Here it is in all its splendour. Wow. Who needs glorious old cathedrals when you can settle for postmodern eyesores from foreign religions, eh? I know which one I prefer. Who's responsible for this? Other than the Europe-wide capitulation to Islam, of course. Well, look no further than the Turkish President Erdogan. A man who knows he can play Merkel and co. like fiddles and get whatever the hell he wants out of our spineless European politicians. Today we'll be talking about political subversion, and oh my, this man is just getting started. Other than being horrible to look at, it's hard to ignore the obvious symbolism of the Cologne Super Mosque. In a city where the indigenous women were defiled by mostly Islamic invaders, this monstrosity serves as a visual marker of conquered land. A monument representing the new authority in Germany, the group with all the power. To be fair to the people of Cologne though, large protests took place across the city in opposition to both the building of the mosque and Erdogan himself, but as we see all over the continent, walking down the street with a megaphone and a cardboard sign doesn't really achieve anything. Soon the local residents will be forced to accept their new architectural wonder and praise it as yet another emblem of Germany's diversity. The mosque itself cost between 17 and 20 million euros to build, although I've seen some reports claiming it was closer to 30 million. I suppose the exact cost doesn't actually matter, only that so much money has been used to dump a political statement in the centre of Germany at the native people's expense. It's 48,000 square feet in size and can house over 1,000 worshippers, big enough to stain the skyline of the entire city. Way back in 2007, right-wing German politician Markus Weiner said that it would only empower the Muslim population of Germany when completed. He also said, "For us, Cologne is still a German city, even if that's hard to see in some areas. We want to preserve the German character, the Christian Occidental character of this town." Well, Marcus, I don't really know what to tell you, son. I'm sure many people called him a racist conspiracy theorist at the time, eh? Oh well. I've actually been to Cologne. I was there in September 2015, just before Merkel officially opened the gates of Europe to the Third World. Even then, I have to say, the city was filled with less than desirable characters, especially at night. It wasn't uncommon to see migrant men pissing against the walls of the cathedral at certain hours of the day. Nobody did much about it, nobody said anything. Most people ignored the fact that it was happening, actually. I suppose they just chalked it down as cultural enrichment. I remember thinking to myself at the time, God, this city would be amazing if it weren't for those people. Can anyone really disagree with me now? Erdogan officially opened the mosque during his recent visit to Germany over the weekend. A visit that was supposed to strengthen the relationship between the two countries, but only ended up exposing how much tension there is. Politicians boycotted dinners, the press grilled the Turkish leader about human rights abuses, the whole shebang. But Erdogan doesn't give a toss about Germany or diplomatic relations. His reason for the visit was obvious to anyone with a pair of eyes. He was there to, once again, appeal to the 3 million Turks living in Germany, and to further his own agenda within Europe. Erdogan is a smart bloke. He understands the importance of demographics within nations, and he certainly understands how to exploit the weaknesses of European democracies using those demographics. A recent study revealed that more and more ethnic Turks living in Germany identify more with their Turkish identity than their supposed German one. Couple this with the fiercely pro-Turkey, pro-Islam hardliner in President Erdogan, and you can see why these people are being more open about their affection for Turkey. This should be of no surprise to us, of course, because we know that these people were always Turkish, never German. Just because they moved to a new nation doesn't mean they threw away their heritage. Only the staunch multiculturalists and integrationists would be remotely shocked by this development. The Turks in Europe are all fully aware of Erdogan's grand plan too, and they're more than happy to play along with it. It's well known that they tend to vote for left-wing parties in Europe, because they offer welfare and are always bending over backwards for minority groups to show how tolerant they are. But then those same Turkish voters will cast their ballot for the iron-fisted Islamist in Erdogan in Turkey's elections. Funny that, isn't it? Perhaps there could be an agenda here. I'm scratching my head. In fact, over 64% of Turks in Germany voted for Erdogan, and the figures are high all across Europe wherever there's a Turkish population. In another display of his rather cunning plan, Erdogan has famously called on Turks in Europe to have more kids. 5 per family, as a matter of fact. He said in a speech, "From here I say to my citizens, I say to my brothers and sisters in Europe, educate your children at better schools, make sure your family live in better areas, drive the best cars, live in the best houses. Have 5 children, not 3, you are Europe's future." On the back of this, a prominent Turkish government official named Alparslan, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. This guy, he echoed Erdogan's sentiments too, but was a little more blunt about the intention behind them, stating, "The fortune and wealth of the world is moving from the west to the east. Europe is going through a time that is out of the ordinary. Its population is declining and aging. It has a very old population. So people are coming from outside to get the jobs there. But Europe has this problem. All of the newcomers are Muslim. From Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. Those who come from these places are Muslim. It is now at such a level that the most popular name in Brussels, Belgium is Mohammed, and the same for England as well, by the way, Great Britain, my country. I know a report came out recently that the BBC tried to claim the most popular name in the country was Oliver, but they conveniently ignored the fact that 3 or 4 different spelling versions of Mohammed were on the list, and if they were combined, Mohammed was clearly the top boy's name. It's like if the most popular name was Carl. It wouldn't matter if it was with a C or a K, it's still Carl. But anyway, rant over. Back to this. The second most popular name is Mila, and the third one is Aisha. He goes on, "The Muslim population will outnumber the Christian population in Europe. This has increased the nationalistic, xenophobic and anti-Islam rhetoric there. Hence, marginal small parties have started to get large numbers of votes. But there is no remedy for it. Europe will be Muslim. We will be effective there, Allah willing. I'm sure of that." Make no mistake, Turkey is launching an Islamic invasion of Europe. Not by firing rifles or deploying cruise missiles, but by playing the long game with the demographic time bomb. They understand that Europe is weak, that it's infected with cultural Marxism, and ruled by bureaucrats who are in the pockets of open border ideologues like George Soros, who will sell out their people without hesitation, vowing to grant visa-free travel access to the 75 million Turkish population as soon as possible. Turkey and others will take full advantage. But if you were Erdogan, if you were a Turk, why wouldn't you do this? You have the opportunity to conquer the old enemy without firing a shot, and people are willing to open the gates for you. You can't blame the man for seizing an opportunity. And the Turkish government is correct. Europe will become Islamic if nothing is done. And it seems to me that nobody, except a few choice nations like Italy, Hungary and Poland, and all the good ones, it seems like nobody else wants to do anything. The rest of our leaders are apparently welcoming it. We're being sold down the river. Demographics are destiny. Our enemies understand this, why don't we? The Cologne super mosque is a land grab, as well as a statement of intent. Its construction was funded by Turkey. or to be more precise, an organisation named the Turkish Islamic Union for Religious Affairs, which manages over 900 mosques in Germany alone while boasting 800,000 members. This organisation is obviously ridiculously sketchy, as it has extremely strong ties to the Turkish government, shock horror, and imams' salaries are paid by Turkish consulates. Basically, the Turkish state is supplying the preachers and the things they preach about. And if we take into account the words of President Erdogan and others in his government about the need to have more children and turn Europe Muslim, we can guess as to what is being preached within the walls of this mosque. It doesn't take a genius, does it? This is political and cultural subversion, plain and simple. The fact that another country with a completely foreign religious ideology is able to pump cold hard cash into the construction of such buildings in order to extend its own arm of power really says everything about the feebleness of modern Europe. Our esteemed leaders have taken the decision to stand aside and allow this subversion to take hold, to undermine our societies, to determine our future. I used to be of the opinion that we should ban all foreign-funded mosques, but why stop there? It's too late in the day. Europe should halt construction of all mosques immediately. If you have an alien parasite eating you from within, you need to cut it out, and quickly. Not ignore it and hope things work themselves out, because spoiler alert guys, they won't. I feel sorry for you, Cologne. I really do. You're in for a rough ride. The people have protested for years, endured a migrant invasion, and will now be subjected to the poison this place will project for the foreseeable future. If you live near a proposed mosque construction site, it doesn't matter where, write to your council, mobilise in the streets, do everything in your power to show your disapproval. Don't sit back and accept it. That's defeatist. How long must we allow this subversion to continue? Thank you all so very much for watching once again. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so in a couple of ways. The first way is via PayPal. The link is down below as always. Thank you to everybody who's so generous. It's amazing stuff, thanks. Or you can become a monthly patron of mine. $5 a month or more will get your name at the end of every single one of my videos as a credit. Like these gorgeous, stupendous people here. I couldn't do this channel without any of you, so thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you soon. Have a good one. Well then. What do we have here? Oh look, there's a letter. You've just done something very few YouTube creators accomplish. You've had an astonishing 100,000 people subscribe to your channel. We know that numbers on YouTube can get really big, but we hope that you don't lose sight of the reality behind those 6-digit milestone. Each and every person who has subscribed to your channel has been touched by what you created. They were inspired, challenged, or entertained. Fuck it. Cheers, guys.